so far, there's the way of attacking your painting with kind of a thicker amount of gouache, kind of like a puzzle piece technique. And then, of course, my own little made-up technique, which, it just comes naturally to me, is to use it with like really thin layers of color, more like watercolor. So I'm just testing out this pink. This pink I used the white to create, and I'm gonna leave the white spaces open. But I think I found the consistency of paint that I want. It's feeling pretty good here. It's like it's covering up the line work the way I want it to. I might need a smaller paintbrush to get these a little bit more detailed. And because we're doing like a Little Red Riding Hood, but I really like pink hair. I'm just gonna do pink hair, you guys, so sorry. If you look up some of my old animation stuff, you'll find that I just can't stop using pink hair. I love a good redhead, pink-haired situation. And then because I love diverse characters, I'm also going to, I'm blending wet on wet. So that's wet, and then this is a wet round brush that's clean. So I can get into these crevices and kind of blend the two wet materials together. And to get the darker shade of pink for this one, I just added a little blue. I'm getting those edges. But yes, with kind of creating different skin tones, you'll find that you can either use all the primary colors and that creates a brown, or you can use not just the primary colors, but you can go ahead and use all the primary colors. That creates just a regular brown, and you can add more yellow to it if you want more yellow in the skin tone, or you can add more. You can actually add black in, just a little smidgen, not too much, and then that would create more of a neutral. It would kind of make it more like my own skin color. So if you're going for more of a peachy skin tone rather than a brown, you'll use white, yellow, and a smidgen of red to kind of get that peach into it. And then what I've done so far is just lay down, took that same amount of water, so I actually saturated it quite well with water, and I pushed around the paint to kind of create kind of a bit of evenness of tone. I actually prepped this with workable fixative as well as matte medium before I got started with this. So sorry if that information came too late for you guys. You can see the difference in the levels of color here too. How saturated. And I do want to say that you can see the brushwork underneath my watercolor style one a lot easier. And that's the brush from the matte medium. So off screen, I blended in just large swaths of kind of creating like a, I don't know, like this kind of brown. And then I'm adding just like some water because I feel like, I don't know if I actually really like this, so I'm just testing my brown. Now, if once I get to the next one, this is my kind of test. You can see here I'm picking up the water with like just paper towel, but when I get to the one with more of a thick application of paint, I probably needed to blend or mix a larger amount. So in the final painting of this, I actually blended a perfect amount of the actual skin tone because I understood how much I needed. But with this, I think I undershot it. And then I tried to fix it, and we'll see how that turns out, you guys. I'm thinking I'm going to be smart here by kind of creating some shadows first. Yeah, that's not going to really work. The reason I say that is because it's going to create a line around my character, which I eventually will not like. What I should have done is created a darker version of those colors in advance and then blend everything out. But I should be working faster than this as well. This video is sped up ×2. And I was like, I should have worked faster. Maybe I'm judging myself too heavily here. I wanted to add like a blush on this one. I don't know why. I'm just fooling around, enjoying myself. And this is a wet application on wet. So this is me taking a clean wet brush and trying to smooth out some of this. I'm getting into some of these corners, going directly over my line work because it can't be helped. I know that I'm gonna go ahead and ink this. It's actually not looking too bad. When I was actually making this, I was feeling some type of way about it, but it's actually not too bad. You can see where my wet brush became a little too wet, and now it's picking up paint and smudging it around. So that's something to think about when you have a wet blending method. It's gonna pick up paint if your brush is too wet. And I think I'm trying to do that purposely here around the face. But I think I was a little presumptuous with it. Here's me attempting to put the little bit of blush in. It looks like a nice color, but I think I decided against it, especially in the final version of this, as it was not planned, and I possibly could have mixed a little bit of brown within it so it doesn't look so jarring. Getting in with a smaller paintbrush and then giving her her green eyes, because that's my color combo, my go-to for the most part. It's like green eyes, pink hair, you're like, yes. You know what decade of anime I was raised with. Alright. Going in with a wet, tiny, itsy bitsy brush to make sure I can get kind of closer to those edges. The other one is pretty simple, right? It's just very flat. But it still looks appealing, and I'm okay with that. Oh, this is me not knowing how to spell. So it's not enough coverage on her face. Yes, I'm noting that. I did not mix enough paint. Things that you find out about yourself after the fact. That's why it's so good to practice. Because I don't have enough paint and I've tried to push and pull it out, it's just creating a really streaky, which I cannot spell, it's just streaky style there. Now I'm going to try and fix this. Let's see. But I have to make sure I dry it completely, because otherwise it's just going to pick up more paint. So I'm just going to wait until it dries. It's not going to take that long because it's gouache, which is a good thing and a bad thing sometimes. Alright, so I'm mixing paint and I'm testing on a separate area what's happening. Testing the thickness of the paint as well as the application. So it's like, is this thick enough? Is it the right color? Did I make enough of this? So depending on your technique, so is really based off of how much paint do you want to use anyway. And more of a traditional technique is this thicker paint process with gouache, because that is what it's for. But I don't know, I feel like the watercolor style is a good fallback. If you are afraid of making mistakes, you might want to do more of a watercolor style to it. And if you're used to watercolor especially, it's pretty much the same rules. Alright, look how thick this paint is. I'm approaching this like a makeup tutorial. I'm starting at the center of the face and I am blending outward. A lot of paint is very similar to makeup, so if those of you are good at makeup, then you might be okay. Now this is slightly darker than what I first started out with, but there is definitely more paint. And it's kind of smoothing out those areas, so I feel slightly happy, but only slightly. And then I'm taking a darker version that I pre-mixed to see if I can create some kind of shadow areas. So I can have like this cell. I like a cell style of painting, and I think especially when I'm doing a cartoony character like this, like it makes more sense. I should have gave her pink eyebrows, but I didn't. I don't think I completely inked this one. And I feel like this is blending a lot better. So, I mean, I don't know. I think it worked out. I kind of saved it. Now the problem is when you get to this level and you're like, well, I could do better. And then you like try again. It's over. Like, you can't really overwork it. You have to just say, all right, I guess this is how it looks. There's no undo button in RL, real life, right? So we just have to be happy about our happy mistake and then inform ourselves for next time. Remember also that gouache dries darker, and in order to kind of make sure that, especially during a longer painting, you might want to spray intermittently your palette so the colors remain wet, because it does dry. Like, it'll dry on your palette and get crunchy and things. So just put like a little dollop of water in it, and then also, like, especially if you're leaving it out, this is also a type of paint where you can kind of wet it and then put saran wrap over it, or cellophane, cling film, whatever you call it. All right, and then I think I'm going to do some of the lighter colors now, and then blend those. So then now you can ink your stuff, right? If you need a dark line. If not, that's fine as well. You can always create that with just the overall shape and form of the paint, right? But what you can do is just take a really itsy bitsy, I'm applying some highlights now, but you can do itsy bitsy bits of like black with a smidgen of water, and then use that to ink it as if it were actual ink. You can do that, but the key is you need to make sure that your painting is completely dry before trying to ink it So say for instance, I even use marker on this. I actually feel more comfortable using marker, and that's why I use it, or like a Sharpie pen. But here I'm going to go ahead and show you just mostly black gouache, and then itsy bitsy bits of water, and then I can really just start lining my work. So there's that. And then on the opposite side, I'll be using just a regular, well, my go-to, my Tombow double-sided brush pen. It is water soluble, so if I wanted to, I can kind of move it around. But definitely for this character I need to anchor, especially now that it's dry. I can go in and I can reclaim some of those details. So I'm going to put her freckles back, and we'll be on our merry way. I could also make sure I can outline the inside of her ear. I don't know if I did that, but you kind of get the gist of it. Doesn't look too bad. Especially with the black line, it really helps solidify the drawing. At least for me, because I didn't really go in with the intention of not inking it. All right, thank you so much for watching.